Look, pull up a stool. You'd think a 300-year-old empire falls because of, I don't know, some massive mastermind political conspiracy.
Right, usually that's what people assume.
Exactly. But tonight, I'm going to show you how a massive Chinese dynasty was accidentally brought to its knees by, well, an incompetent salt bootlegger and a tearful family reunion in a frozen supermax prison.
It really is an incredible sequence of events.
It is. We are digging into a 1,400-year-old storyteller's script for tonight's deep dive. It's this gritty tale of outlaws, rebellion, and brotherhood. Settle in, because we're going to treat this ancient epic exactly like what it is, a deadpan, blood-soaked mobster movie.
I think it's a perfect reminder for anyone sitting at this bar tonight. History is, rarely made by people who are actively trying to make it.
Oh, absolutely.
It is usually made by people who are just trying to survive the day.
Yeah, just guys trying to make it to tomorrow.
So let's look at the Sui dynasty in the early 7th century. Let's start with our first guy. His name is Qin Qiang, but on the streets of Qizhou, he goes by the title Divine Fist Taibao, a heavy title.
Right. Think of him as the ultimate untouchable local sheriff, but mixed with a legendary mafia enforcer. He's respected, he's feared, and he keeps the peace. But, even legends slip up.
They always do.
Yeah. So Qin Shang gets into a scrape, loses his temper for just a split second, and accidentally kills a man. Bad manslaughter charge. The magistrate bangs the gavel, and Qin Shang gets slapped with a kong.
Which, for you listening, you have to imagine a solid wooden board. It weighs about 30 pounds with a hole right in the middle.
Just a miserable piece of hardware.
Exactly. They lock it around your neck. You can't reach your face to feed yourself. You can't lie down comfortably, and it violently chases your shoulders with every single step you take.
30 pounds of dead wood. And they make him wear it while he is exiled, on foot, to a place called Yanshan. I want you to picture Yanshan.
It's not a pleasant place.
Not at all. It's a harsh, remote military zone. It's the ancient equivalent of a frozen supermax prison in the absolute middle of Alaska. You don't go there to get rehabilitated. You go there to disappear.
Yeah, it was essentially a death sentence disguised as a change of scenery. The Sui dynasty was a highly militarized state, constantly paranoid about its borders.
Always watching their backs.
Right. And Yanshan was the fortified territory of the Prince of Biping, this warlord named Luo Yi. The men running that fortress were not your typical wardens. They were hardened border generals.
Right. So our disgraced enforcer, Qin Kong, drags his chains and his 30-pound wooden collar into Yanshan, expecting the absolute worst. He's freezing, he's exhausted, and he runs right into the prince's son.
Ah, Luo Cheng.
Yeah, a kid named Luo Cheng. On the streets, they call him the cold-faced silver spear. He is young, he's arrogant, and he is absolutely lethal.
A dangerous combination.
Totally. You'd think this is where the exhausted convict gets beaten to death by the warden's sadistic kid, but here is where it takes a totally bizarre turn. They start talking.
Just a casual chat in the yard.
Yeah. They start comparing family trees. Qin Xiang mentions his mother as Qin Shangzu. The cold-faced silver spear stops dead, looks at this filthy convict, and says, "Wait. My father is Qin Yi."
The realization just hits them simultaneously.
I just want you to let the absurdity of that sink in. You get sent to a brutal frozen prison camp, completely resigned to your miserable fate, and you find out the terrifying ice-cold warden running the yard is actually your long-lost cousin.
It's quite the plot twist.
Right. And instead of breaking your legs, this absolute killer immediately starts bringing you hot tea and pastries. They are literally weeping and hugging it out in the middle of a frozen military fortress.
It is a remarkable narrative turn, but let me step in here and explain why this actually matters historically.
Go for it.
This isn't just a tearful family reunion. It is an ancient, highly classified exchange of military technology.
Wait, I don't get it. Their cousin's catching up. What does military technology have to do with it?
Well, you have to look at the mechanics of what they do next. They don't just sit around drinking tea all day. They head to the training yard.
Oh, right.
Qin Qiang possesses his family's secret martial arts technique, the mastery of the dual maces. These are heavy, blunt force weapons designed to basically shatter armor in close quarters combat.
Brutal stuff.
Extremely. But Luo Cheng, on the other hand, is the master of the Luo family's elite 5-tiger soul-breaking spear. The spear is all about reach, precision, speed, and keeping your enemy at a distance.
Because they have completely opposite fighting style.
Exactly. A spearman's blind spot is when an enemy gets past the point of the spear. A mace wielder's blind spot is getting picked off before he can even close the distance.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Right. By recognizing their blood tie, they completely drop their guards. They spend Qin Qin's entire exile cross-training.
Wow.
Qin teaches Luo how to defend in brutal close quarters, and Luo teaches Qin the footwork and distance management of the spear. They swap their family secrets and eliminate each other's blind spots.
That's incredible.
Yeah, this accidental family reunion just forged two formidable fighters into a single, unstoppable tactical unit.
I mean, they accidentally created the ultimate super soldier program in the yard of a supermax prison. That is brilliant.
It really is.
But while Qin Kong is enjoying his sudden VIP training camp up in Alaska, the plot thickens back down south. The heavy military presence on the borders, like up in Yanshan, means law enforcement down in the heartland of Shandong is spread dangerously thin.
It creates a vacuum.
A massive vacuum. And where there is a vacuum, you find hustlers.
Which brings us to the salt.
Which brings us to a guy named Cheng Yaojin. Now, Cheng Yaojin's street name is the Demon King of Confusion.
Such a great name.
Which, let's be honest, tells you absolutely everything you need to know about his decision-making skills. Cheng just got out of the local jail. He's broke, he's hungry, and he decides he needs a hustle to get back on his feet.
Naturally.
So what does the Demon King of Confusion choose? The black market salt trade.
I should probably explain the stakes of that choice to you, because to a modern listener, salt is just, something sitting in a shaker on the bar here.
We take it completely for granted.
We do. But during the Sui dynasty, before refrigeration, salt was life. It was literally the only way to preserve meat and vegetables for the winter.
You literally could not survive without it.
Exactly. Because it was a biological necessity, the Sui government held a strict monopoly on it.
So smuggling private salt back then wasn't like dodging a small sales tax.
No, not at all.
It was exactly like bootlegging liquor during the height of American Prohibition, but with a product that every single citizen desperately needed to live.
Precisely. The Sui emperors were funding these massive, deeply unpopular public works like the Grand Canal and launching disastrous military campaigns into Korea.
Bleeding the treasury dry.
Right. They needed astronomical amounts of money, and the salt monopoly was the financial lifeblood of the empire. Selling private salt undercut the emperor's war chest directly.
So it's a big deal.
Huge. It was a high-profit, incredibly illegal enterprise that required total discretion, flawless logistical planning, and a very low profile.
Yeah, three things the Demon King of Confusion absolutely does not possess. The guy is a walking disaster.
A complete mess.
He spectacularly botches the entire operation almost immediately. I mean, he makes barely any money, makes a ton of noise, alerts the local authorities, and gets himself arrested. Again.
It didn't take long.
No. But because he was messing with the emperor's money, this isn't just a stint in the local lockup. The judge sentences our incompetent bootlegger to an autumn execution at the women execution ground. He's going to lose his head.
Which sets the stage for a major tipping point.
Oh, yeah.
Up until now, we are dealing with localized crimes. Manslaughter, smuggling, common felonies, really.
Yeah.
But the execution at women changes the entire trajectory of the Sui dynasty.
It certainly does. So I want you to picture the execution day. The air is crisp, the leaves are turning, the women ground is absolutely packed with spectators.
High tension.
Oh, incredibly high. The executioner has this massive, heavy blade raised high. It is completely over for the Demon King of Confusion. But right as the blade starts, its downward, all hell breaks loose.
The ambush.
A massive coalition of outlaws, street hustlers, and heroes from Shandong literally explode out of the crowd. And they aren't alone. They brought the Xiangma.
Ah, the ringing horse bandits.
I love these guys. Let me explain the Xiangma to you. These were legendary, terrifying mounted bandits from the region, and they got their name because they would literally tie dozens of bells to the necks and manes of their horses.
It's so cinematic.
It is. When they rode out to ambush you, you didn't just see them coming. You heard this deafening, chaotic ringing sweeping across the plains. It was pure psychological warfare.
It paralyzes the guards before the first arrow is even fired.
Exactly. So the crowd hears the bells. Panic erupts everywhere. The outlaws storm the block like a chaotic, blood-soaked action movie sequence. They just slaughter the guards left and right.
Total bloodbath.
They literally snatch Cheng Yaojin's head back from the Grim Reaper, pull him up from the block, and fight their brutal way out of the execution grounds, leaving a trail of dead government soldiers in their wake. It is the ultimate jailbreak.
I need to wipe down the counter and stop you here, because the mechanics of what just happened are crucial to understand.
All right, lay it out.
As I mentioned, smuggling salt was a localized economic crime. what they just did at the execution ground, slaughtering uniformed government troops to disrupt a state-sanctioned execution. That is high treason.
Yeah, they didn't just break a buddy out of jail.
No, they declared war on the state. There is no paying a fine after this. There is no going back to normal life or slipping back into the shadows.
You can't just lay low after killing soldiers.
Exactly. By swinging those swords at the emperor's soldiers, every single man in that rescue party just signed his own death warrant. The Sui government cannot let that level of defiance go unpunished, or they lose the illusion of control. The outlaws are now public enemies of the empire.
Public enemies of the empire. The heat is fully on. The government dispatches the military to hunt them down. All of them.
A massive manhunt.
Right. So the fugitives are scrambling, and they need to lay low and figure out a survival strategy. And this is where all these chaotic threads finally weave together. They all converge on a dusty little tavern in Licheng County called the Jiaoliu Inn.
A very crowded tavern.
The ultimate safe house sit-down. Now, I want you to think about the famous 1957 Appalachian meeting.
The mob summit.
Yeah, that was when dozens of American mafia bosses from completely different rival families suddenly gathered at a random rural house in upstate New York, attempting to centralize a fractured underworld into a national syndicate.
It's a great comparison.
That is exactly what is happening at the Jiaoliu Inn. You look around this tavern, and the room is packed with 46 men, and the roll call is completely insane.
It is a room of pure contradictions.
Right. You've got cops on the run, like our guy Qin Shong, who made his way down from the frozen north.
Yeah.
You've got wealthy aristocrats, like his cousin, the cold-faced silver spear, Luo Cheng.
The odd couple.
Definitely. Then you've got our incredibly incompetent bootlegger, Cheng Yaojin. You've got a guy known as the Divine Archer, Shi Yingding, who is essentially an ancient sniper.
A very useful guy to have around.
Absolutely. You've got a divine calculator, Zhu Maogong, who serves as the tactical brains of the operation. And you've got Shan Yangyingshan, a man who is unrivaled as a brutal street fighter.
Quite the courage.
It is a volatile mix of disgraced FBI agents, mafia bosses, and street hustlers who have suddenly realized they are all on the exact same wanted poster.
A room full of massive egos and conflicting interests, unified entirely by the fact that the emperor's army is marching toward them.
So the tension in the room is suffocating. You have lawmen sitting right next to the bandits they used to hunt, so what do?
They make a choice.
46 men push back their chairs. They hit their knees on the wooden floorboards of this dusty inn. They pull out their knives. They bleed into a communal bowl of wine. They drink it, and they swear a blood oath.
A serious commitment.
And the oath goes like this. We don't seek to be born on the same day, but we seek to die on the same day.
A really powerful statement of brotherhood.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. On a purely administrative level, that is a terrible logistical commitment.
How so?
I mean, think about the sheer math of it. You've got 46 heavily armed, incredibly violent guys. If one guy trips on a rock, catches a bad case of pneumonia, and dies in his sleep, do the other 45 have to line up and jump off a cliff?
Well,
Like, who enforces that? If the bootlegger drinks bad wine and chokes, does the aristocrat have to fall on his spear? It's an administrative nightmare.
you're looking at the oath like a literal contract, which completely misses the political weight of what just happened. Allow me to explain the historical mechanics.
Please do. Educate me.
That single moment of loyalty at the Jiaoliu Inn, that was the exact moment the Wugang army was born. That single collective kneel shook the foundation of the Sui dynasty.
Because they finally united.
Exactly. When those men hit their knees, they were 46 disparate fugitives hiding from the law. When they stood back up, they were a revolution.
A real shift in identity.
A complete ideological shift. You see, the Sui dynasty was a powder keg. The peasantry was starving, the salt taxes were crushing them, and the military was exhausted from endless foreign wars.
They just needed a spark.
All the country needed was a spark. When these 46 men united, they didn't just hide, they organized. They pooled the tactical genius of the cops, the wealth of the aristocrats, and the sheer numbers of the bandits.
The perfect storm.
They began seizing government granaries and redistributing food. They disrupted the salt supply lines, choking off the emperor's revenue. They provided a centralized banner for every angry, starving peasant to rally behind.
Wow.
They showed the populace that the seemingly invincible Sui armor could actually be pierced.
They walked into the bar as desperate criminals and walked out as the vanguard of a national rebellion. I can absolutely drink to that.
It's a historic pivot.
Look at the bizarre cascade of events we just laid out on the bar. A legendary tough guy catches a manslaughter charge and accidentally figures out how to build the ultimate infantryman with his long-lost cousin in an Alaskan-style prison camp.
Right.
Then an idiot gets out of jail and tries to run a terrible bootleg salt scheme, which leads to a botched execution, which leads to the ringing horse bandits slaughtering government troops.
It's pure cause and effect.
And all of that localized chaos pushes 46 completely different men who should frankly be killing each other, into a tiny inn to swear a wild suicide pact that ends up collapsing a 300-year-old empire.
It's almost hard to believe.
It is. And I want you to think about that in the context of your own life. The biggest, most profound changes in our lives usually don't come from our carefully laid 5-year plans. They don't come from the masterminds.
No, they rarely do.
They come from the chaotic, unplanned, messy moments where your back is entirely against the wall, the bells are ringing, and you are forced to rely on the completely random assortment of people standing in the room with you.
It is a comforting thought, finding strength in the chaos. But as I wipe down the counter for the night, I will leave you with this lingering question to chew on.
All right, let's hear it.
They swore an oath in the heat of the moment to live and die together. It is very easy to call a man your brother when the executioner's blade is falling and the adrenaline is masking your differences.
That's true.
But what happens after the adrenaline fades? When you have 46 massive egos for former cops used to giving orders, career criminals used to breaking them, and wealthy aristocrats used to being worshipped, trying to actually manage the logistics of a rebellion day in and day out.
Yeah, that's a different game entirely.
How long can a bloody bowl of wine really hold up against the cold, hard realities of power?
Now that is a sobering thought to end the night on. The hangover after the revolution. Thanks for pulling up a stool for this deep dive. Keep your friends close, watch your back, and whatever you do, stay the hell out of the black market salt business. Good night.